What just happened? Holy smokes, I don't even know if I was in the arena or if this was an out-of-body experience. Holy smokes, that was no BS. I think that was the most fun since the good old days, right? When this team was vying for playoffs and Lillard and co were there. That was something else tonight. Don't know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about the Blazers' 106-98 victory over the Minnesota Timberwolves. They now have a winning streak. But holy smokes, man. We talked about this pregame, about the game that they had last night and how they're going to get in here. And you know what? Like, hey, I just want them to play well. That's all I want them to do. That's all. And they did more than that tonight. They put together an absolute complete game. Shaedon Sharpe burst out of his, not slump, because he hasn't been in a slump, but he burst out of that, hey, I'm getting the groove back, and he played like the Sharpe that I think everybody wants him to be. And then obviously Donovan Clingan had the best game of his young career, a historic night for him. I mean, the YouTube chat is already going off. 8 freaking blocks tonight for Donovan Clingan. I mean, he was a rookie, and he almost pulled off the triple-double with blocks. Like, holy smokes. And I've gone through this a few times with people. Remember when I was talking to you guys last week? I'm sure you do. And when I was talking about how I was getting in a debate with some media members about how Donovan Clingan playing 13 minutes a night is just a travesty, and he needs to play more. Oh, he can't play more. He's going to – guess what? When he played 30 minutes tonight, all he ended up with in 32 minutes of action, he didn't have a major impact. I mean, only 17 points, 12 rebounds, and 8 freaking blocked shots. And Coach Billups talked about it post-game, and we'll play that audio here in a bit, but it was – like, the blocks weren't easy blocks either, man. They were impressive blocks. And there was a couple times that he was literally throwing around Rudy Gobert. Who the heck throws around Rudy Gobert? Like, this was an insane night for Donovan Clingan. It was a great night all the way around for everyone. We'll dive into that. But if you want to get in on the conversation with me tonight, a couple ways to do that. You can go to Twitter. You know what to do. Chris J. Burkhardt is on the little screen there if you're watching on YouTube. Speaking of which, you can go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and we'll pop right up. You can come watch the live stream, get in with everybody. All my OGs, Daniel, Han, Kirk, Iron Rod, Marcus, Chris, Jake, Air Weldon, they are all in there popping off on the chat right now because they are excited. And, of course, 503-248-0620 is that telephone number. You can call in and get on air with me. Or I'm sure my friend Victor in Turkey, I don't know if he's going to call or not because he sent me a DM on Twitter right at the beginning of the game when the Blazers, because they did come out of the gate slow. There's no denying that. But he sent me a tweet that the Blazers are going to lose by 100 points. Not enough power tonight. Little did you know, my friend. Little did you know. Yeah, it ain't over until it's over, my friend. You never count a team out just because the first quarter. But holy smokes. Let's take a look here at our YouTube chat. Got to pop you back up. See, I'm so excited. I'm closing tabs and everything. My goodness. But let's look at this. You guys, everyone, I think Clingan is the story tonight. The Clingan was so impressive that we're glossing over the career-high 33 points for Shaedon Sharpe like it was nothing. And he had perhaps, I mean, the dunk that he had, the putback jam that he had, I think that was one of the more like energetic reactions to a play that I've seen since my favorite all-time play that I witnessed in person that wasn't a game winner because, it was obviously Dame's shots are our all-time greats. But as you guys know, the Thomas Robinson block lob to Will Barton on the other end, which I think also happened against the Minnesota Timberwolves, if I'm not mistaken, right? So good plays happen against Minnesota, but holy smokes, Shaedon Sharpe had that dunk. Then he absolutely took over. He was hitting jump shots. He was hitting threes. He was driving to the basket. He was smooth with it, as the kids say. It's funny enough, that's what Marcus just said. The kid is smooth. Yeah, he was absolutely incredible tonight. I did ask Chauncey about that postgame, and we'll hear what his answer was. I just asked about how nice nice it was it to kind of see him start to, you know, shake off the rust and get into his groove. And you can tell because Chauncey said, you know, the one thing they are doing is like they're starting to call some more plays for him to get him more involved offensively, and you could definitely see that come to fruition tonight. But man, let's look at the box score as a whole. Let's start with the visiting side. Jaden Daniels just 7 points in this one, 5 rebounds, 6 personal fouls, fouled out of this bad boy. Julius Randle had 20 points, 10 rebounds, solid performance from him. One thing I love about I like Julius Randle. I actually like Julius Randle a lot. I liked him in his early years in LA. I liked him in New York. I think eventually, as this team gels, I think he's a good fit in Minnesota because he gets to play that more natural forward position. But man, watching him tonight, like there was times where he got irritated when Tamani was on him, and I love that, as do you, because Tamani's been incredible. But he had a double-double. Rudy Gobert, 12 points, 11 boards, 24 points for Anthony Edwards in 40 minutes tonight, and then Nickeil Alexander-Walker chipped in 13. Mike Conley not playing in this one. Naz Reid, 15 off the bench. Dante DiVincenzo, and he had 2, so he didn't have a major impact. But defensively, man, this team was all over the Minnesota Timberwolves. They were definitely struggling. They shot just 39% from the field. And, of course, you're not going to shoot a super high percentage when Donovan Clingan is blocking every single shot you take, right? All right, on the Blazers side of things, Tamani Kamara, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 3 steals, 8 points for Jeremy Grant. And again, Coach Billups talked about this one. I wonder if Jeremy Grant was one of the players who was approached, if you will, when they had their little team meeting and their airing of grievances, because the last 2 games have been 2 of the most impressive defensive games I think that we've seen from Jeremy Grant. He was all over the place both nights. Tonight, again, very, very good defensively. Only 3 of 12 shooting, again, and, you know, that's gonna be hit or miss. It always has been with him. He is more of an offensive player though in general, but defensively he was spot on today. Then Donovan Clingan, as we already mentioned, 17 points, 12 boards, 8 block shots. The stat was he is now tied for the second most block shots in a single game by a Trailblazers rookie with Sam Bowie. We all know him. And Sam gets a bad rap because of Michael Jordan and getting injured, but Sam was a really, really good player. We cannot forget about that. He had a pretty decent run in New Jersey. The injuries just sucked for him. Kelvin Cato, who in name alone is a Blazer legend, right? Those are the 3 he's tied with. Number 1 is Bill Walton with 9 block shots in a game. So that's some elite rookie company when you're right there next to the big redhead. So kudos to Donovan Clingan, man. So impressive. Shaden Sharp, career high 33 points, not 13 points, 6 rebounds as well. And then Scoot Henderson, 4 of 10 shooting, but he had 11 points in this one. And I think he did everything he needed to do. So I like that. And yeah, you look at the rest of the lineup. Bench was all right. Dwap Reith only played 8 minutes. Denny Avdia didn't have the big impact that he had last game, but I thought he was solid all the way around. 8 rebounds, 7 points. 6 points from Chris Murray, including a massive dunk, which was the 1 assist for Donovan Clingan. And then Delano Banton continues to be so impressive over these last few days. 13 points, 5 assists as well. So, man, just an impressive overall game for the Blazers. Defensive rebounds, they had 36, 47 rebounds overall, out-rebounding the Minnesota Timberwolves. The assist game, they only had 17, not as impressive as last game, but they did outpace Minnesota in that category. Another 19 turnovers. I would like to get that number down a little bit, but I ain't going to complain when you go out and you win a game like that. Let's take a look at the YouTube comments here. Kirk says Julius Randle is Zebo. Well, if he's Zebo, that's fine with me. Zebo was pretty good. Also starts at one team, goes to New York. You know, I see the comparisons there. Let's see. Chris says the last 2 games the most pleasurable I've watched in years. That's I don't think you're too far off. Brett cracks me up. He says it's pathetic. They can't even tank right. I get it, man. I'll take these 2 wins, though. These are absolutely phenomenal. And again, Coach, it said a post game, man, that you know it's amazing what you can do when you're playing for each other, and I think that's cool. Samuel chimes in. Chris, can't wait to visit this Sunday. Is that the legendary I chimed in and I got interviewed on radio, Samuel. If so, you better come try to say hi. I mean, let's see, doors open quick enough if you get here right on time to come put a headset back on. Absolutely. I do got a funny story too. Sam jumps on the show, gets interviewed, doesn't tell me that his dad's a doctor, and then I find out that one of the people at my office ends up seeing him at the doctor's office, and he's like, "Yeah," and the doctor was telling me about how you interviewed his son or whatever. I'm like, "Whoa, small world." Small world. So yeah, Samuel Lipke, that's right, world famous Lincoln High School water polo player, right? Did I get that right? Lacrosse, one of the two. I can't even remember. I apologize. I'm crazy over here. I can't pay attention, Sam, because the Blazers just did the unthinkable. They had the roof off Moda. This was an outdoor arena for a little bit because that roof popped off. It definitely popped off. And as the comments are saying, that's the most fun I've had in the last few years. And it absolutely has been. And again, you're gonna get deflated at some point. I don't know how long they can carry this on, but for these 2 nights, this 48-hour window, it was pretty darn amazing. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is that telephone number. We'll go out to the phone lines right now to the preacher who wants to talk about Coach Billups' 48 hours of glory. Preacher, welcome into the fifth quarter.
Hey, I appreciate the show, and I appreciate you taking me on air. Let me just say this. Chauncey, he's a Hall of Famer. I watched him with Rasheed Wallace after he left the Blazers go over there. I wasn't even a Detroit Pistons fan, but I was a Rasheed Wallace fan, and he went over to Detroit, and with Chauncey Billups and Tyshawn Prince and Ben Wallace and the whole lineup over there, they did the unthinkable over there. And at this point, when Chauncey said what he said in verbal terms, and then what the Blazers did in physical terms was literally what I wanted to hear and feel for a long time, because it hasn't felt that way since I don't even remember. So even if it's so short or whatever, I appreciate it. But it was great.
Yeah, it absolutely was great. And, Preacher, I'm with you. I actually really I didn't – they weren't my favorite team because I didn't waver from the Blazers as a kid. But you know how you always go for like a second favorite team? And my second favorite team,
Yep.
as I said, it was fair to pick an Eastern Conference team, was the Pistons for a while there because the same reason for you. Rasheed Wallace to this day is my favorite basketball player of all time. They
did play San Antonio. They did play San Antonio, and San Antonio is a hot, or as they say, they were hot at that point.
Yeah.
And somehow Detroit deflated them.
Detroit
with
was
Ginobili.
good. Hey, the thing is that Detroit team, and I've talked about this many a time, like if you're built with a point guard as your best player, because Billups was their best all-around player at that point, you have to have a very specific makeup,
Yep.
and they had it. They had guys who could space the floor. They had an all-NBA defender. They were phenomenal.
Chauncey's DNA, you could be a hater on Chauncey, but his DNA as a point guard, as a coach, resonates right now exactly as the way you would handle things. Is if there's a leading whatever, this is the guy. He got an MVP out of nowhere as a champion.
Yeah. Absolutely, and that does, it resonates. And I know his play style, it resonates. A lot of people just absolutely love him. So, I liked him, and I'm with you. I loved that Detroit team because of Rasheed, and I think I wanted to try to wear a mask because Rip Hamilton was so awesome. Tayshaun Prince was just new into the league; he was great. Ben Wallace was phenomenal. Like that was a good team. I'm with you, but this 48 hours for him, obviously. Glorious, and hey, give him props. We could talk bad about Chauncey and his coaching, and that has been a topic on this show. It's been a topic in the YouTube chat. It's been a topic everywhere. But I think for the last 48 hours, you got to give him a little bit of credit for what he's done in these 2 games, bouncing back from that terrible game against Memphis. Whatever he and the team did in that locker room and out that practice on Monday, it resonated. Because even if they lost these games, they played a much different brand of basketball, and that's phenomenal. Chris asked, did I get a Klingon glass? If so, I'll give you $1,000 cash. I did not get a Klingen glass. That was only for fans as they were exiting. Obviously, I have not exited the building, so I didn't get a chance to get one. But the media was joking. They're like, Donovan Klingen has his like best game ever on Donovan Klingen glass night. So can we just like move up? Can we give away Scoot's glass on Sunday? Like, can we redo it and just start giving out glasses every single game? Like, you got to be a little superstitious with it now. Uh, on a King City has one, I'll give them two. Oh my gosh, you guys are having way too much fun. All right, we're gonna take a quick break here on the fifth quarter. When we come back, Michael Shacker has your shot of the night and your drive of the night ready to go. I have no idea what the heck he's going to pick. The plethora of highlights there was tonight. We still got Coach's Corner to get to, as well as a game ball to hand out. Don't go anywhere. Chris Burkhardt here with you on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620. All right, we are on a radio commercial break. So you guys, you know, this is unfiltered Burkhardt for the next 3 minutes. What do you guys got? Looking at the chat here. If you were in the East, you'd be the 3 seed. Hey, I don't care where they are right now. This 2 games. I hope this can sustain just that feeling of because boy, it was fun. It was so fun. Blazers standing wise right now, 5-8 has them at the bottom. 5-8 would have them currently as the, let's see, 455. Look at the winning percentage here. 358 or 385. They'd be down at 10th. They'd still be in the play in there. But still, they're right in the mix. Holy smokes. This team is something else. What else we got? Looking at each Han, that is it's such an interesting point because like Robert Williams last night pretty much like solidified like, yep, he might be the best center on this team. And then tonight you're like, yeah, we can go ahead and just give Donovan Klingen 30 minutes tonight. No, I think that Da is right there with Jeremy Grant as the two most likely players to go, at least probably the first to go. But man, you gotta find. And the thing is, I don't know. Even if you want to go young, like do you have to trade Robert Williams at any point? I mean, he has value. I know that. He's 27 years old, so he's still young by NBA years. But you give him the friendly contract plus the fact that he's a backup center and kind of always has been. That's his role. Not a bad spot to have a guy on your roster for 12 and a half, 13 mil. Let's see where that goes. But yeah, Aiton might need Aiton. I like Aiton. I think Aiton is not at this point might not be the best fit with how they want to play. But you never know, too. I mean, wherever they go coaching wise, if they decide to part ways and go somewhere else, like off of Chauncey, maybe he fits into their play style better. But I love the way Donovan, he rolled with a little more ferocity tonight, which was good. And I love the way Robert picks and rolls to the rim because he draws defenses, right? So it opens up for the outlet pass and hitting some shots. So, yeah, it's interesting where they're at right now. Yeah, you still got a tank for capture the flag. Chad Doing is happy somewhere. Chad Doing is happy over in section 113. He's still over there chit chatting with Travis, who works his way up here and helps me tear down. So All right, we're gonna go away for a second. Be back on radio here shortly. Welcome back into the fifth quarter. Chris Burkhardt here with you. And had a really good question in the break there. This is from Chris. He says, if you could equate these last two games to a Metallica song, what would it be? Because he knows I'm a Metallica guy. Han went with Nothing Else Matters, which is a good pull, and title-wise very fitting, right? Because nothing else matters outside of these two games. But in true Chris fashion, I'm breaking this down. Also, Air Weldon, that wasn't Metallica. That was Seven Dust that I wasn't supposed to be playing over YouTube, and I messed up. So whatever. But here we go. The answer to your question, Chris, is one. And why am I going with one? Because you got to remember, you had Kill 'Em All, you had Ride the Lightning. This is a thrash metal band. They just slap you in the face, and then Injustice for All comes out, and they play one. Imagine you hear that for the first time. You had Blackened, you had Injustice for All, you have Eye of the Beholder, which is my personal favorite Metallica song. Love that song. And all of a sudden, one hits you, and you're like, what is this slow melody? Oh my gosh, did my Metallica sell out? What is going on? That was the Memphis game. No, you're like, this is not the Metallica I know. What? I mean, whoa, I don't like this at all. I don't like this at all. And then all of a sudden the break happens and that double bass hits you and the guitar duo solo goes monster ham and the tempo doubles and you are losing your mind with how heavy that song is. That was the last two games. It was the middle to the end of one. That means Sunday's going to have to be a new song because that was it. That was one. We started slow with Memphis, and then we just hammered it for the next 4 minutes of nonstop Kirk Hammett thrash metal guitar solos, right? And Lars Ulrich double basses was the equivalent of 8 block shots from Donovan Clingan, right? That's what I'm going with. That's how I like to break it down. All right, heading back into the YouTube chat. If you guys want to go get in on there, youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, where Joe's going with Enter Sandman. Well, let me tell you what, that's also a good song because the Timberwolves are probably going to sleep with one eye open, gripping their pillow tight after coming into Portland and losing 2 games to the Trailblazers, my man. That's what they're going to be doing tonight. Like, we're off to Klingin land. Yeah. Off to Klingcon land. There needs to be someone do me a favor. We need like a Kling Klong Skull Island type reference, right? Like, give me something. Like, I don't know. Kling Kong, he's amazing. He had a hell of a night. You want to jump in on the conversation? YouTube's away. Twitter's away. Chris J. Burkhardt's the name. Or you can go on to the telephones, and you can dial 503-248-0620, where Dan in Northeast has been waiting patiently. Dan, welcome into the fifth quarter.
What's up, Burkhardt? What a game. For starters, you can have one for the game, representing the game, but that fourth quarter belongs to Damage Incorporated. That's all there is to it, man. Blood will follow blood. Dying time is here.
Yes.
Steamroller action crushing. Oh boy, that was outstanding.
It
will not surprise you. What's that?
That you've climbed up my favorite caller list. That is a phenomenal pull, Daniel. That's a phenomenal pull.
Well, that was the fourth quarter, man. They were everywhere. It was just mayhem. And honestly, if you want to go full Metallica nerd, they've got the midsection. They've got the break, like the bridge and stuff, and then snare, and then go, and they rip into this insane solo. It seemed like they were coming from all angles in that fourth quarter, especially on the defensive end. And I'll call out Tamari and Chris for that. But obviously, I want to talk about Clingan. I'm going to say I got a couple of takes here. I'm going to say something stupid about Donovan Clingan, and I'm going to own it, and then I'm going to justify it. Because I've been thinking about this for a while when I see him play. When I see Donovan Clingan in the paint, you know who I'm reminded of?
Who's that?
Despite knowing how stupid it is, I'm reminded of Sabas, which is a stupid thing to say. I'm a huge Sabas guy. I know they're not even the same. They don't even have the same game, right? Like, Donovan wishes he has Sabas's bag.
Right.
Donovan's a better athlete. Sabas is a better shooter, all of that stuff. But I'll tell you two things they have in common. Donovan's huge, and he's smart. Like, there's a lot of ways to be a 7-footer in the NBA. You can be a rangy guy. You can be a stretch. You can just be like a brick wall. But when I see Donovan patrolling the paint, I'm reminded of Sabas. Sabas was slow. He's stuck in the mud, but he didn't get caught out of position all that often because he was smart enough to know where he needed to be. And you see that from Kling. It's not just the blocks. It's the loose balls. It's getting his fingers on balls and tipping them to teammates. It's not letting yourself get out of position. In the fourth quarter, there were multiple possessions where there were players backing off just because he's there, which that belongs to a pretty elite class of centers, man. When you change the dimensions of your opponent's offense like that, I'll tell you the reason we won this game is because Anthony Edwards did not take over this game, and a huge part of that was Donovan Kling. It was just outstanding, man. I thought Shaedon was incredible. It's so nice to see him shooting with confidence, even though he went, like, I think 3 of 10 from 3. He's not afraid to let it fly. He had absolutely, like, he took a couple shots that I think were kind of bad shots. He had the shot, but it's kind of early in the shot clock and stuff. It's clear that Chauncey's told him, dude, just fire. We know you can make that shot. Don't be shy. You look for your shot. Be aggressive.
Right.
He wants to build Shaedon's confidence, and it's awesome. And it's a credit to Chauncey that he does that knowing that he's not going to get yanked necessarily for it. With so many awesome performances, I think Scoot can get a little lost because he wasn't playing in the fourth. But I thought he had a great game. I thought he really kind of held things together in the third. He's got to cut down on the turnovers, but he's playing with confidence, and you see him building chemistry with some of the other players. I keep waiting for, like, the veiled drop or whatever on Delano Banton. Like, the sample size is small in this whole fourth quarter closer thing. He's proven me wrong every single game. Like, he's going out there. I think the shot is real, which is crazy. And, I mean, he's a problem for defenses. Like, they don't scout him as much because he doesn't play that much.
Right.
And he's 6'9" with a handle. Like, it's a problem. It's terrific tool for manipulating matchups. I know I'm taking a long time here. I want to wrap with the thing on Chauncey because we've been hearing a lot about how the Blazers should move on and this and that. Dude, if you're going to do that, you better have somebody in mind who's going to do the things that Chauncey does better. And what he does, he relates to young players, he gets them to play hard, and he emphasizes defense. And when it comes together on a night like this, you have to give him some credit. So I think he deserves a ton of credit for this win. Killer W. Love it. Rip City, baby. I'm out.
All right, Dan. Hey, thank you so much for the call. And since you're going to go lyrically as well, then I do think that Battery is a good pull. I mean, Circle of Destruction, Hammer Comes Crushing, Powerhouse of Energy. I mean, come on. Smashing Through the Boundaries, Lunacy Has Found Me? Because there was some Blazer maniacs, some lunatics out there today. Battery's another good pull. See? I like my Metallica family here. You guys are awesome. All right, back out to the phone lines. Since very fitting, since we're talking music, that Tall Tim's calling. Tall Tim, welcome into the fifth quarter.
Well, it's always good to call when the spirits are high.
Yeah, right.
I think I've been thinking. I mean, this kind of just came to me, but I think it's been brewing for a while. But okay, so they played kind of up and down, right, for a while, and then they just come home and just like lay a stinker, and Chauncey just gets in their grill, and just says, "Hey, look, I don't know what's said, let's keep it private, whatever's going on, because there's all sorts of like subplots in this year, right? I mean, who's going to be the core of the team, who's going to be a trade asset, who wants to go play somewhere else because they maybe don't fit the timeline. There's all that stuff going on, and I think what's happened is that everybody's become a little bit passive and deferential. They're all trying to fit in and try to just be a team player, but that leads to just passive basketball. And so I think with Chauncey chewing them out and just saying, look, got to get out there and play your butt off, get focus on just like dominating the game. And you see the last two games that if they do that, they can just be disruptive and stay in the game. And I also think the shooting, if you're passive and you're deferential, I don't think your shooting's as good. And I think that they're just now they're shooting better because they're like, hey, I got to play butt off, and you start making plays. And so I think maybe that's what they needed, was like a kick in the ass saying, look, you guys got to just get out there and do it. And now they can see the couple of games. Now we'll see if the NBA for young teams up and down. But now they see that if we play our butt off, this could be kind of fun. I mean, we can get in people's grill. We can get people a little like, you guys aren't supposed to do anything. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. They got a couple of days to, enjoy their triumph. But I think this might have been a kind of a little bit of a spurt where they can get going as a team now. Just like play frickin' hard.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, Tim, and I appreciate the call. I do. I think that the last two games may have been a reset type thing where it just resetted them mentally. I think that loss in Memphis was almost needed. Not in Memphis, to Memphis, because I think it finally was the boiling point. You've had bad losses, but you just let it slide. And I think that one, for the first time, really felt like that the vibe was off. I mean, being in this building that night, it didn't feel good. And you watched the team, they didn't look good. And then you listen to Coach, and, like, he was very upfront. Like, I think that was the one, the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back, right? And they came out, readjusted. I tell everyone, like, go and listen to Robert Williams' media availability Monday at practice, because I tell you what, you could tell he was pretty honest and said, what he was allowed to say. But I thought the way he approached it, you could tell that whatever happened was impactful and that it was something that could maybe change the course with how this team plays. I'm not getting over my skis here. Like, I don't think this is changing the course of their outlook on the season. Like, they're still a lottery team in my eyes. But if you play like this all year long, you're going to sneak out wins. You're going to grab a few. You're going to beat teams that didn't expect it. And you're going to have more games that are close games. And again, if you lose by, 5-10 points, but you played your ass off like you said, you ain't upset about it. It's those Memphis games that you get irritated with as a fan, especially when you've been told you're in a rebuild. So you understand that you're going to take your lumps, like I like to say, but they don't always have to be ugly. And that was just pure ugly. The last two games were beautiful. And even this one, the fact that they kind of came out slow. I mean, they were down after the first quarter, and they just kept swinging, tied at halftime, tied in the third quarter, and then just, boom, blew past them in the fourth. It's a good ball game. All right, we're going out to Troy in Kelso now. He wants to get in on the real important talk, and that is Metallica songs to describe this game. Troy, what do you got for us?
For these two games, the perfect song, you dig a little bit deeper into the Black Album, and you've got Of Wolf and Man.
Oh, that's a good one. Are we back to the meaning of life here? Is that what you're trying to say?
Back to the meaning of life. Take the wolf in thyself.
See, right?
Yep.
I like it. That's a good pull, man. You got anything else for me?
We're season ticket holders, and I'm just really enjoying what I've been seeing. Man, these guys are, they're entertaining for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think as a season ticket holder, you can stomach these last two games better than Sunday. The place was bumping tonight. That dunk by Shea. I mean, it was phenomenal, man. So. Well, hey, if you're a season ticket holder, that means you're here all the time. You better get over here and come say hi to me one of these games, okay?
All right, will do.
All right, man. Thanks for the call. Also, of Wolf and Man, another good pull. Well done, guys. My Metallica fans in the chat, do not disappoint me. Oh, for those of you on YouTube right now, Shacker is going with free speech for the dumb. Free flippin' speech. Garage Inc. Good album. I guess also another good pull, Turn the Page, right? They kind of turned the page on Sunday. Doesn't count as a real Metallica song, though. Neither does this one. If it was on Garage Inc., that doesn't count. Covers don't count, guys. All right, Chris Burkhardt here with you on the fifth quarter. When we come back, We're going to head to the Coach's Corner, hear what Coach Billups had to say, and I'm going to hand out my game balls as well. You can join the conversation, 503-248-0620, or head over to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and join the chat. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Back in 40? That's a short break. Oh, gotcha. Sam, I know you dropped a Wolf of Man. I saw it. I didn't get a chance to reference it. So you guys are on the same page. That's a good pull. That's definitely a good pull. I'm gonna run out of Metallica songs eventually. We're just gonna. I will really expand the musical horizons here. It's definitely gonna be more thrash metal. That's my wheelhouse. You know what I've been into like the last 3-4 days though musically. Totally went down a random rabbit hole. No doubt. Tragic Kingdom is a just slept on album from the 90s. That thing is phenomenal. And lyrically, some of the stuff that Gwen and them did, money. Shacker's a No Doubt hater? That's a good album. Also, I didn't know that Gwen Stefani's brother is an animator for The Simpsons. The more you know. It's like nowhere near, like, you can hate on No Doubt and that album all you want, Shacker. It's nowhere near like my favorite albums of all time, but it's a good album, my man. Don't be a hater. Just because it ain't metal. I don't know. Was that what your no was for, or was your no for my No Doubt reference? Oh. That's fine. Oh, Chris, Albatross by Corrosion to Conformity it's like an all-time favorite song of mine. Oh my gosh. It is like definitely in my top 10. Albatross just hits so hard. Oh boy. And then basically anything Alice in Chains did. There you go. I like Shortest Straw. That's a good pull, too. God, Corrosion of Conformity. I knew I liked this chat. This chat's awesome. How much longer till we're back, Shaq? All right. We'll be back in a sec here.
I just think, after that, obviously that Memphis game was such a devastating loss for us. There was a lot of things that went into it. But again, like I said, we came in the following day and we sat and had a real honest conversation. And I think that there's a lot to be gained from honesty. And we addressed those things. And it's just amazing what you can do when you do it together. And no matter who's out there, when you play for your buddy, it's amazing how good you can play, whether you win or lose, So that's all I could tell you for real is like we playing so hard, we playing together. They care about them playing well together, and it's just amazing what you can do. These guys are not in the NBA for no reason. They're great players, So I love to see it. They're playing for their buddy, and that's what we want.
Could you have imagined getting the production you got from Donovan tonight?
Well, I mean, we've seen him do it before, when he started the game against Utah, even though it was the preseason. We've seen him have a big-time night, You never know, what you're going to get from him. You're going to get maximum effort. The game is he's starting to understand what people are running, and for him to have 8 blocks. And it's not even just the shots that he blocked. There's 7 or 8 other shots that, that he changed, or them seeing him in the paint and choosing to go the other direction. Those things don't even come up on a stat sheet. So you got to give Donovan a lot of credit, And we sat in here before the game talking about his minutes, and he played 31 minutes, and he was gassed. And I thought, obviously, he took a bad hit at the end that I had to get him out for, but it might have been 33 minutes, He did a great job.
Players have big scoring nights a lot in the league, but how rare is it, or is it rare for a player to have the defensive performance like Clingan had?
There's just not a lot of guys that can impact a game defensively like a guy like he can. So I would say that, the guys in the league the Wembys and guys that are great big-time shot blockers, they have some big nights, where they have 6, 7, 8 blocks. I think what's so surprising here is just how young he is and how inexperienced he is, not even used to playing this many minutes. I don't know how many games. Last year at UConn, he played 31, 32 minutes. So to me, that is what's most impressive, to play that much and to be able to stay that focused.
That is his competitiveness. We saw it get pretty live out there.
Oh, man. That's what most people that know him well know that about him, but he's a real competitor, man. And he cares about doing it right. He cares about being there and being a good teammate. But he's a competitor, man. He's trying to go after everything, and he is actually pissed when he doesn't block that shot, or when he goes and blocks a shot and his man ends up getting an offensive rebound. I mean, he's hot, I just want him to voice that. I want him to be a little better about that. Voice it. Let your teammates know you mad, and why you mad. That's his next step.
All right, it is time for a game ball here on the 5th quarter, and it's a tough one. I mean, I kind of want to lean Shea because that points performance was much needed, but who am I kidding? The game ball goes to Donovan Clingan, 17 points, 12 rebounds, 8 blocked shots in his first game where he plays almost 32 minutes of action. Just a phenomenal performance from him, and all credit goes to Donovan. That was a phenomenal performance, and we talked about this in the pregame. I mean, with no DA, no Williams, and we were talking about how, hey, he's probably not going to play the big minutes because he hasn't played the big minutes up to this point, right? So it's going to be a little bit of Dwap Reith, a little bit of Jabari Walker and whatnot. Dwap Reith only played 7 minutes Jabari Walker played 2. They played Denny Advia at the center position just a little bit when they went really small, but this was Donovan Klingen's night. And to go out there, play 32 minutes, and he did. He looked gassed at moments. But for him to go do that, play the first big round of minutes, going up against a guy like Rudy Gobert. And again, Rudy Gobert so easily falls into the NBA heel. He's easy to dislike, but he's a good basketball player, right? He's a big body. He's hard to move around, and Klingen went toe-to-toe with him. He went toe-to-toe with him tonight. Had a hell of a performance. That's where my game ball goes. We got a few minutes here, so let's head back out to the YouTube chat where, let's see, Klingen better as a starter because he did it for a long time in college. Any validity to that take? No. Air Weldon, I don't think that's the take. I think Donovan Klingen, to me, needs to be around more offensive weapons. And so when you put him in the starting lineup and you get Shea next to him, you get Tumani, who is definitely turning into an offensive weapon. You get Jeremy Grant, and then you get the little bit of that cohesiveness. I do think he plays better with starters. I don't know why. I thought that in the preseason. I thought the preseason games, when he got runs with the starters, he looked better. Maybe it's because he started, mentally too in college. There's a difference between coming off the bench, so maybe that has a factor. I don't know. But either way, I don't care what the reasoning is. I just know that he looked incredible tonight. He looked incredible tonight. Man, what a game. What a game. You guys are awesome. YouTube chat's phenomenal. The phone calls were good. The vibes are high, baby. One is still my song. I'm gonna rock it as soon as I get in the car. Maybe I'll just skip right to the double bass. Oh yeah, we're gonna rock it. You guys though, you've been awesome. Let's look at this schedule though, because we're gonna be back at it here in a minute. And let's see, Shacker, you can hit Freebird for me. I thought you were gonna start it a little earlier. My bad. I was trying to get out on time for you. My goodness, you're messing with me. All right, Blazers get a little bit of rest, which is good. No game tomorrow, no game Friday, no game Saturday, but they'll be back at it on Sunday, 3 p.m. tip-off right here on Rip City Radio. I will have Blazers game day for you at 1 o'clock. Chad will have the Blazers pregame show at 2 on the Blazers Audio Network. Travis Demers will have the call. And, of course, hopefully we're breaking down a Blazers win right back here on the fifth quarter. To all my callers tonight, Victor, I'm sorry I couldn't get to you. We were up against the clock. I'll get to you next show, I promise. Thanks for the tweets today. And then everyone else, man, Kirk, Han, Dan, Chris, Air Weldon, everyone in the chat. You guys are phenomenal tonight. Blazers, once again, they win 106-98. A massively good performance. Oh, man, it was good. I've been Chris Burkhardt. I will talk to you guys on the next one. Good night from Rip City. We are. Am I clear? All right, we're off radio, but one last shout-out to you guys on YouTube, man. You guys were so awesome tonight. You make hosting the show a ton of fun when you guys are chatting like you were tonight and just going off, having fun. When we can go off the rails to talk about Metallica, it's a good night. So I don't say that lightly. You guys, thank you so much for making the fifth quarter so fun to host. I hope you guys keep coming back. Tell your friends about it. Keep the chat going. Hopefully you guys are all back and you're loving what I'm doing. You guys are the best. I'll talk to you on Sunday. Real quick, Kirk, I never said I didn't like hairbands, okay? They are overrated, though. They do have some good songs, some good bangers. Motley Crue, massively overrated, but they do have some really good hits. That's all I got to say about it. You guys are awesome. I'm really leaving this time. I got Metallica to listen to.